All right, guys, hope all is well. There's kind of a lot to go over today, so I'm going to do it as quickly as possible. I'm just going to go over a couple of trades so far from this week. We are Wednesday, 11:40 GMT. So let's check out the dollar. Okay, cool. So I said about the dollar that I was expecting it to come down into this, take out this low. We did. We exceeded that. We came down. This took out the previous low, and then we actually broke structures. So really kind of what I'm looking for is you can see my simple fib. It's your low, lower high, lower low. And I'm just looking for that lower high to then actually come back down and create a lower low. I know fundamentally dollar is actually super bearish. So I do think we could potentially just run this high quick time, going into NFP, have that push move back up into here. And then we could actually have that die move potentially back down into these imbalance zones, or maybe a little bit further. But just for the time being, I do really want to see if we could potentially just come and run a lot of this low and a lot more and fill a lot more down in here. But this break right here and this break below this low was actually a really, really nice confirmation. Dropping it down, you can see dollar is kind of pushing bullish at the moment. Going into London session, we did have a nice sell to buy movement. Do I think that's probably going to get tested? No, that would be potentially nice. I do think we could potentially just run. So let's kind of see what happens with the dollar. So US30, a couple of nice trades on this pair. So let's go back onto daily. So daily time frame, we took out this high, that's fine. But we still kind of tested this zone, and then you can see we had quite a nice bit of reaction. Again, you can see just because we just take out a high doesn't mean we can't kind of collapse through it. This has happened. This happened before. So again, potentially this thing could be just that run of that high and then actually continuations. We didn't actually break above this high. You can see on the daily time frame we didn't break above this, and I'm using daily structures, so this move short is actually potentially still valid. Now, even though we did run this high, I am only looking for the 50% of this whole range, and you can see we've got some nice daily demand down in here, so potentially look for accumulation and maybe ride. If not, we could just break lower. So that's US30. So going in from yesterday, at the beginning of the week, we opened here. Let me just really, really quickly put my days on. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Friday close. Cool. You don't have to do this, but I quite like doing it just so you can see kind of where everything is. Last week, we were super bullish. Going into Monday as well, we came bullish. We just ran this high going into yesterday, testing our daily imbalance. So there were a couple nice trades on this, going all the way down to 15-minute. Now, I've seen this play out quite a few times. Whenever you see kind of a run of a high on one session, so you can see this is our New York high. We had a run in the London, and then going into New York, then we came down. So looking at different session timings and looking at the highs of each session timing is actually really quite crucial. So we came in, we tested this high, and we then came back up into this 30-minute zone. So I wanted to see if I could potentially get in anywhere off that 30-minute. It was only a tight stop loss. So we had a 4-pip stop loss. So for me, 4-pip stop loss, that was actually good enough. We reacted off of this whole zone. Using the low, we reacted off this whole zone. And then I did actually get an entry just about here, stops above the high. And then you can see we pretty much rolled over from here. From that, we then had a confirmed shift of momentum of supply and demand. This is our demand. You can see we invalidated it. So now we're just looking for the move that caused that, which was this 30-minute move. You can see this last up move here. So entries off of this 30-minute and then just letting price roll. My first target was all of these lows down in here, because when we had this encounter happen, I can imagine there would have been a lot of stop losses just below this low. So my actual stop loss was, my take profit was just at the bottom of these lows. And then the target, I'm potentially looking to see if I can hold that back down into here, because if we are actually looking for US dollar strength to then actually come down, that means we could have US30 pullbacks to then come back down. We might not achieve that whole goal, but I do definitely want to see a little bit more of a run. And considering we are generating equal lows and we do have this wick that I do want to see potentially just get ran today. So let's kind of wait and see what happens for this week on US30. But so far, this is looking nice. NAS also, NAS daily time frame. I'm looking to achieve this overall 13,500 level, which is up here, but I do think we could get a nice daily retracement down into this demand and then actually get some continuations. You can see break of this structure, break of this intermediate structure. We can take this whole move. You can see fib lines up pretty nicely with this daily open zone, which I'm looking for to get tested. And again, yesterday, exactly the same as US30 going in from Friday close, we had this gap that was created. I did want to see a bit more of a release, and then I thought this was going to be our target, but we didn't. We ran up, just up into this high. We did actually come close, but we didn't. But we literally just quickly swept this daily high. So once we'd actually swept out this daily high, we pretty much just toppled over from here. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to see if I can get in some sort of test of something. So we had this first encounter of test, and I said, okay, cool. Let me drop it down and see what else there is I can potentially get in on. And you can see, let's delete this. We then came into this guy. So order was set here, stop loss just above the high. And then you can see we did actually start shifting momentum. So again, US30, NAS100, I am pretty much just looking to see if this is going to roll over. I don't mind seeing liquidity being built up in the form of highs, because that means then we can just come in and take it out. Whether it's going to be that sharp, I doubt it, but that's why I'm looking for them. If we do rise up again, that's completely fine. Stops are at break even anyway, so whatever happens is fine. What I think maybe could happen is we have this big Marubozu candle here. This is just no wicks. So this is just telling me that this is just one big buy to kind of sell. So we could, in fact, run all of these highs, come in and test the open of this candle one more time, and then actually start heading back down. So that could potentially be a possibility that I am going to look and wait for. So far, EMAs are over. You can see this whole time, as soon as we crossed over, riding this up, the EMAs were underpriced. Now you can see we've had this crossover, EMAs above, so I'm just looking for that roll over. Silver, if any of you guys saw my analysis the other day, I was looking for this daily move to get tested, and I was actually looking for that 25,000 psychological level to get met, and you can see we actually hit that really, really well. So I had two orders, two positions, sorry. One was at the 50% of this, at the open of this 4 hour, because this is in fact our overall distribution area. So we didn't even test that. We literally just ran straight through it. But this would have still been varied very much so, just because we'd swept a lot of the highs in here, and then we actually started to break structures. So again, we had going off hourly zone, we had price come in and test. We had price coming in and test. We then actually started to shift momentum a little bit higher coming out of here. Price then came down and we tested the small demand that was left in here. Price then shifted its momentum. We then came down and tested. That was my entry. My stops were actually just below this low. And then my first target was actually, no, my first target was here. So this is my first target. Then price pulled back, we reacted off a 15-minute. Let me go in. Yeah, we reacted off this move in here. We tested, we reacted. And then I got in on another entry. Off of this 1 minute. Because this was the one that kind of gave us that spring move. Everything here, high, 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 low, high, 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 low, and then high, high. So this was the one that kind of pushed the first momentum. So my entry was just a little bit higher because of spread, and my stop loss was just below this wick here. And then second target was resting up here on where that hourly imbalances, 4-hour supply, sorry. And then we absolutely ran. We took out the first target, came back down. We tested in and around our area of consolidation where we first stalled. Why did we react from here? Because this was the supply that kind of shifted here. We failed, we broke it, we came back, we tested it, and then we continued. So that was really, really nice to see. Whether the price is going to come back down a little bit now and head back up, I'm not really too sure. But I will keep everyone updated on this pair, but really, really nice trade. AUDUSD shorts from this morning. We ran right up again into a daily zone in here, and we can actually just hold this high, and we ran that out. So after we ran out this high, we then had a distribution. So we have your preliminary supply, buying climax, ST, have that UT, that break structure, that test, and then we had an actual confirmed break a little bit lower. So then it was just looking for the zone that caused all of this. I was looking off an hourly, which is from this imbalance, and from this 30-minute, which came in and tested this zone in here, really, really clean. Going into the Asian session, you can see we came in, we tested both orders, and first targets were met at this 4-hour imbalance. So that was a really, really clean, what was 1 to 4.3. So I am just going to wait and see what happens with this. If we then do break this structure or break these lows, I do want to be looking for a pullback into this zone to then short. Euro GBP, I'm not really looking at anything too crazy in here. I am just potentially looking for shorts from this zone back down, or failing that up here. I'm looking for this potential 5-minute move. We ran and then we broke. So 2 zones, not really focused on those too much at the moment, but I do ultimately want to see this New York low get ran at some point. So we will see what happens with these 2 pairs. But if any of you guys have got any questions, please let me know and feel free to fire away. All right.